Okay, what is up guys? Thank you for tuning back into the channel here again for another video. In today's video we are going to be talking about the 3 biggest mistakes that you can make virtually wholesaling. Now if you don't know what wholesaling is or virtual wholesaling, you can go back in my channel and look, I have a video on that. But if you already know what that is, this is going to be 3 things that is going to help you make sure you can get ahead and not get snagged when you're trying to get started in building your business. So just sit back, relax as we go over the 3 biggest mistakes that you can make when getting started with virtual wholesaling. Okay guys, so the first mistake, the biggest mistake that you can make when you're getting started with virtual wholesaling is not knowing your market. So the reason why this is so important is because when you're getting started, obviously virtually wholesaling, it means that you are not in an area that you're necessarily familiar with, and there's a lot of stuff that actually goes into how to select your market. But once you actually do get into a market, the biggest mistake that you can actually run into is not knowing how to run your numbers on ARVs and rents in your market. So that's a huge mistake, and what's going to happen is when you get started and you start locking up your first properties under contract, you're going to have huge problems if you have deals under contract that are completely mispriced. And the reason why that matters so much is if you're trying to put out product to your investors that is mispriced, that will cause a huge lack of trust with your investors, and that is something that you cannot afford to create, because you might send somebody out to a property to go look at it, and these investors have very busy schedules and their time is also extremely valuable. So if you screw them over one time by not knowing your market and having something under contract that's not actually a deal for them, and they spend that time to go out and actually look at the property, then you are going to completely blow an opportunity, and then it's going to do like the boy who cried wolf. We all know how that works. So what's going to happen is if you don't know your market and you start pricing stuff incorrectly and then putting it out to investors, then the next time you actually do get a property under contract, all these investors are going to look at you as somebody who doesn't understand the market. So again, that is the first biggest mistake when getting started in wholesaling, is not knowing your market, and then also not being able to choose a market and look at, understand the way that investors are going to price out these deals. So that is by far the number 1 biggest mistake when you're getting into wholesaling, and we'll move on to the next 2. Okay, so this is the second biggest mistake when it comes to virtual wholesaling, and that is this is going to be an overall and like kind of general concept that I can explain and kind of break down why it's so important. But what it comes down to is just avoiding at all costs being lazy, and just overall avoid being lazy and also sloppy work. And you might ask yourself, well, like, that seems obvious. It's obviously not a good idea to be lazy and sloppy. But the biggest reason why it matters in virtual wholesaling is because you are not physically at these properties. So if you were able to go and meet sellers, meet your investors at the properties, then obviously you'd be able to have a little bit easier time communicating with people and setting things up and building that trust. But if you are not able to be there physically at the properties to support the entire process and just be there to guide things and make sure that things stay on track, if there's sloppy and laziness that comes into the work, it can completely ruin a deal. And this can come down to scheduling pictures for properties, or just getting investors into properties to walk them for inspections or final walkthroughs. It can go down to tenant-occupied properties where instructions aren't communicated the right way, and the next thing you know, a tenant's really pissed off, or an owner, or something is just going wrong. So you need to keep that in mind, that if you're not going to be physically there, you need to be on top of your game, or else the lazy and sloppy work will just get multiplied. If you were lazy and sloppy and doing a bad job and you're physically there, that would obviously be bad. But the fact that this is virtual and you are not there, that makes the lazy and sloppy work about 5 or 10 times at least worse. So that is the second overall biggest mistake in virtual wholesaling, is an overall sloppiness and laziness when it comes to doing this stuff. So you have to be on your game, and you have to have, most importantly, systems and processes to follow so that you can check everything off and make sure that you're not missing very important stuff, laziness and sloppiness, which is, again, the second biggest mistake when it comes to virtual wholesaling. Okay, hey, what's up guys? Just coming back at you for actually the 3rd biggest mistake for real estate wholesaling, and doing that virtually. So this one is just going to be flat out giving up too soon. There's something that I think is really important to understand in this business, and that there is a huge learning curve when it comes to doing this, and there are some people who give up too fast and don't give the process and that learning curve a chance to play out, so they can actually end up being successful virtually wholesaling real estate. So you have to understand that there is a learning curve, and you can't get super discouraged by mistakes because of everything I just mentioned. Virtually wholesaling real estate is not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but it is possible with the right systems and knowing how to do the right thing. So what I want to mention here at the end of the video is we have a wholesaling course. Well, my company has a wholesaling course, and what you can do is we are going to be starting our first classes in the end of February. If you want help basically overcoming this learning curve when you're getting started, and if you want to start from where you probably had been running your business for honestly a year to 2 years in full virtual, and you want to be able to skip the really difficult and trying beginning periods of wholesaling, then we have an absolutely insane deal that we're doing. I honestly can't believe that we're doing it for as cheap as we are. If you mention this video and then shoot me a DM, if you get on in the description, there will be my Instagram there, and just shoot me a message and just say you were watching on YouTube, like the 3 biggest mistakes video, and when you are getting signed up on a call, just mention, I'll make sure the team knows that if you mention this video, I'm going to make that price a special deal. And like I said, we are going to help you get started and overcome the initial learning curve, basically to help you overcome mistakes and help you get started a lot faster. And also, we are going to peel back the curtains from our entire business and show the inside of our business and how we're currently wholesaling and making 30 to 50K per month on average just in virtual wholesale real estate deals. So mention this, but that is enough. That is the third and last final biggest mistake for this video. I just want to get this to you guys, so really appreciate you guys tuning in for this video. And remember, mention this video, the 3 biggest mistakes in virtual wholesaling. If you send me a message on DM, the team will know. We'll get you set up with a phone call, and then we'll be able to get you started with this course. And it's just going to be absolutely insane. So and you guys are not going to believe how cheap we are doing this, especially because it's gonna be able to get you 1 to 2 years ahead in virtual wholesaling games. So this is just ridiculous, but I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I will catch you in the next video.